we're going to turn parts of Iran, those who are enemies, into fish food and then get out. I do not believe the president will send in troops. In fact, if he sends in troops, the thud you hear will be me face planting because I fainted. I think this will all take a matter of weeks, and after we are done, it'll be up to the good people, and they are good people of Iran, to try to overthrow these knobheads who are in charge now.
Last night on live Cspan television, something happened that has Capitol Hill buzzing. Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana stood up, looked straight at Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, the man running the entire Iran war, and asked one simple question. General Hegseth, have we achieved our objectives in Iran? Hegseth froze. His jaw didn't move. His eyes didn't blink. You could literally hear a pin drop in that Senate chamber. And Kennedy, he didn't stop there. He leaned forward and said 6 words that just buried the Pentagon. Iran's military is held together by spit and duct tape. The room went silent. The cameras caught Hegseth's face. Fox News, Forbes, even the BBC are now running this clip. But here's the part nobody is talking about. Kennedy didn't just call out one man. He exposed a lie the Pentagon has been telling the American people for weeks about the Iran war. And what he said next has lawmakers on both sides demanding an emergency hearing. So if you want to know what Kennedy actually said that made Hegseth freeze, and why this one quote changes everything about the Iran war, stay with me. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to break down the entire hearing, line by line, what the Pentagon is hiding, who Kennedy is going after next, and whether Donald Trump himself is about to get dragged into this. Let's go.
Is that the classified information and unclassified, it's public, showed that our intelligence discovered that not that long ago, Iran had developed the supreme leader, now dead as fried chicken, but they have a new supreme leader, had developed a new game plan for their nuclear weapons program. And their game plan was to jack up missile, both ballistic and cruise missile production and drone production, and put together this huge stockpile of missiles and drones, at which point they would turn to the United States and Israel and the rest of the world and say, we're going to restart our nuclear weapons program. If you bomb us again, like you did in June, we will destroy the Middle East. And by the way, our missiles can now reach Berlin and London and Paris. Is that my understanding of one of the reasons, the main reason we went into Iran?
I think that's pretty well articulated, Senator, that they were trying to use the umbrella of their established conventional stockpiles to blackmail the rest of the world in pursuit of their own nuclear weapons.
Now let's talk about Iran today. Can we agree that Iran, both the public and the private sector, is being held together right now with spit and duct tape?
Spit and duct tape is not a doctrinal term, Senator, but I would agree with something along those lines.
It's a Louisiana term. I mean, 7 out of 10 Iranians are out of work. We bomb their infrastructure. They've got 70% inflation. Their internet's shut off. You know better than I do what we've done on the military side. Their launchers, gone. Their missiles, for the most part, gone. Their drones, gone. Do they have some left? Yeah. Their Navy, gone. Their Air Force, gone. You can get in an airplane, you personally, and fly anywhere you want to across Iran right now and feel safe because they don't have any air defenses. It will be, in my opinion, 20 years and cost $1 trillion before they're even back somewhat to normal. And I don't have the slightest idea where they're going to get the money. If they think China's going to give it to them or Russia, they've got to learn a hard lesson. To that extent, have we achieved our objective in Iran?
Objective, as this president has stated from the beginning, is to ensure they don't get a nuclear weapon, and President Trump remains dedicated to ensuring that happens. And everything you described with the military degradation of their country was in service of ensuring they never get a nuclear weapon.
This is what I never understood the president to say, I want a regime change in Iran, and I want to obtain all of their fissile material. I've never heard him say that. What I heard him say was, I don't want to go back through it, but our goal is to cripple them so they can't blackmail the rest of the world. Now, many of my Democratic friends are trying to say we have lost. Here's a footnote. You're not going to get Democratic support. They're not. They're not going to support you, Mr. Secretary, because they don't support President Trump. I know that's not a newsflash. But they say we've lost. I don't get it. I don't understand how we've lost. Is the strait closed? Yes. But if we continue that blockade where nothing's going in and nothing's going out, eventually they're going to have to shut down their oil fields, are they not? Half of their oil fields are low pressure. Once they put them down, they're not going to get them back up. Am I missing something here?
No, that's why the president is right when he says we hold all the cards, and we do. And we've got the best deal maker in the world able to make the best deal for the United States of America. And if we have to go back at it as the Department of War, we're ready to do that as well.
Well, keep two things in mind. You're not going to win over my Democratic friends. It's not worth getting your blood pressure up. Focus on other things. And number two, just keep this in mind. America first does not have to mean America alone. America first does not have to mean America alone. We need all the friends we can get. They need to carry their own weight. They need to pay their bills. But the more the better. I'm sorry I went way over, but I sure do appreciate
Senator Kennedy. Senator Murphy.
Thank you, Madam.
Mr. Secretary, welcome. Can we agree that if you took President Xi Jinping and turned him upside down and shook him, that the African country of Mauritius would fall out of his pocket?
I don't know if we can, but I'd like to indulge you on that.
Well, let me try it another way. Mauritius is good friends with China, is it not?
I understand there's some level of a relationship there.
Yeah. Yeah, like they're BFFs or whatever the young people call it. Prime Minister Starmer wants to give Diego Garcia and the Chagos Islands to Mauritius, which has virtually no connection with the Chagos Islands, who will promptly give a spare key to Diego Garcia to China. Is that accurate?
What I would underscore is that Diego Garcia is a very strategic location, and having the ability to operate there for the United States military is going to be critically important in the future.
Starmer wants to give it away, does he not?
As President Trump has stated, there's been some pretty bad deals made by the Brits as it pertains to Diego Garcia.
I'd like to hear you. I mean, the president's been back and forth on this, and I've talked to him a lot. He is not going to agree to that, is he?
No, as the president has stated, it was a bad deal that was cut by the UK and Prime Minister Starmer as it pertains to Diego Garcia, as evidenced by limitations that our troops could face in how we use that island. Yes.
All right. I appreciate that. My understanding is that the classified information and unclassified, it's public, showed that our intelligence discovered that not that long ago, Iran had developed the supreme leader, now dead is fried chicken, but they have a new supreme leader, had developed a new game plan for their nuclear weapons program. And their game plan was to jack up missile, both ballistic and cruise missile production and drone production, and put together this huge stockpile of missiles and drones. at which point they would turn to the United States and Israel and the rest of the world and say, we're going to restart our nuclear weapons program. If you bomb us again like you did in June, we will destroy the Middle East. And by the way, our missiles can now reach Berlin and London and Paris. Is that my understanding of one of the reasons, the main reason we went into Iran?
I think that's pretty well articulated, Senator, that they were trying to use the umbrella of their established conventional stockpiles to blackmail the rest of the world in pursuit of their own nuclear weapons.
Now let's talk about Iran today. Can we agree that Iran, both the public and the private sector, is being held together right now with spit and duct tape?
Spit and duct tape is not a doctrinal term, Senator, but I would agree with something along those lines.
It's a Louisiana term. I mean, 7 out of 10 Iranians are out of work. We bomb their infrastructure. They've got 70% inflation. Their internet's shut off. You know better than I do what we've done on the military side. Their launchers, gone. Their missiles, for the most part, gone. Their drones, gone. Do they have some left? Yeah. Their Navy, gone. Their Air Force, gone. You can get in an airplane, you personally, and fly anywhere you want to across Iran right now and feel safe because they don't have any air defenses. It will be, in my opinion, 20 years and cost $1 trillion before they're even back somewhat to normal. And I don't have the slightest idea where they're going to get the money. If they think China's going to give it to them or Russia, they've got to learn a hard lesson. To that extent, have we achieved our objective in Iran?
Objective, as this president has stated from the beginning, is to ensure they don't get a nuclear weapon, and President Trump remains dedicated to ensuring that happens. And everything you described with the military degradation of their country was in service of ensuring they never get a nuclear weapon.
This is what I never understood the president to say, I want a regime change in Iran, and I want to obtain all of their fissile material. I've never heard him say that. What I heard him say was, I don't want to go back through it, but our goal is to cripple them so they can't blackmail the rest of the world. Now, many of my Democratic friends are trying to say we have lost. Here's a footnote. You're not going to get Democratic support. They're not. They're not going to support you, Mr. Secretary, because they don't support President Trump. I know that's not a news flash. But they say we've lost. I don't get it. I don't understand how we've lost. Is the strait closed? Yes. But if we continue that blockade where nothing's going in and nothing's going out, eventually they're going to have to shut down their oil fields, are they not? Half of their oil fields are low pressure. Once they put them down, they're not going to get them back up. Am I missing something here?
No, that's why the president is right when he says we hold all the cards, and we do. And we've got the best deal maker in the world able to make the best deal for the United States of America. And if we have to go back at it as the Department of War, we're ready to do that as well.
Well, keep two things in mind. You're not going to win over my Democratic friends. It's not worth getting your blood pressure up. Focus on other things. And number two, just keep this in mind. America first does not have to mean America alone. America first does not have to mean America alone. We need all the friends we can get. They need to carry their own weight. They need to pay their bills. But the more the better. I'm sorry I went way over, but I sure do appreciate
Senator Kennedy. Senator Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you all for being here. Let me give you a chance, Mr. Secretary, to answer Senator Coons' question, which is a really simple one. How are we going to get the strait open? Because nothing matters more to our constituents than doing something about these spiraling gas prices, which are bankrupting families and farmers all across the country. And maybe let me ask it this way. This is the first time you've come before this committee, but in other briefings, people that work for you have told us in plain terms that there is no military mechanism to reopen the strait, that ultimately it will be a political decision made by Iran. And I think you're confirming that here today by suggesting that it will be economic pressure that will create a political imperative inside Tehran to open the strait. So can you just confirm for the committee that there is not a military mechanism or means to reopen the strait, that ultimately we have to essentially use diplomacy, economic diplomacy in this case, in order to convince Iran to make the decision to reopen the strait?
Louisiana Republican Senator John Kennedy. Senator, welcome to the show. So I'll give you a chance to start there with what Senator Warner said. This is a war of choice.
Senator Warner, Shannon is star-spangled brilliant. On this one, he's also wrong. Our intelligence clearly showed that Iran had taken baby steps to restart its nuclear program. It was producing between 200 and 600 new missiles a month. Its plan was to stockpile enough missiles so that it could destroy the Middle East if we went back in to destroy its nuclear program. That's why I say President Trump he's not trying to start a war, he's trying to prevent a war. He tried negotiating with the Ayatollah. The Ayatollah said no to everything except lunch. What's our plan? I'll tell you what our plan is. We all heard it in the classified briefing. Our plan is to destroy the Iranian Navy, destroy the Iranian Air Force, destroy their facilities through which they're making missiles and drones, destroy the infrastructure for the Revolutionary Guard and other parts of their military. We're going to turn parts of Iran, those who are enemies, into fish food and then get out. I do not believe the president will send in troops. In fact, if he sends in troops, the thud you hear will be me face planting because I fainted. I think this will all take a matter of weeks, and after we are done, it'll be up to the good people, and they are good people of Iran, to try to overthrow these knobheads who are in charge now.
Well, all of this comes at a cost. The human cost, there's a financial cost as well, which Senator Warner touched on. And there are questions now about the administration coming to Capitol Hill with a supplemental request for this. One of your colleagues was asked about that, Senator Lisa Murkowski, who sits on the Defense Appropriations Subcommittee. She says the administration should not be taking anything for granted. If they come to us at the end of the month and say, this is what we want, and basically you deliver the votes, it's not a winning strategy, in my view. You've got to start making the case. How do you see that playing out?
Well, Senator Murkowski is my friend and colleague, but she's a minority. Congress, at least the Republicans in Congress, are not going to let us falter in achieving our objective because we run out of money. I think right now our military has plenty of money and they have plenty of ammunition. This business about we're running out of ammunition is foolishness. It's foolishness on a stick.
Well, before any of that gets done, I want to bring up what President Trump has just put out on Truth Social today that may affect your business there on the Hill. He praises those who are pushing the SAVE Act, which would require proof of citizenship, among other things, before you can register to vote. He goes on and says this has to go to the front of the line. He says, I, as president, will not sign other bills until this is passed, and not the watered-down version. Go for the gold. Must show voter ID and proof of citizenship. No mail-in ballots except for military, illness, disability, or travel. Then these add-ons that may come as well. No men and women's sports, no transgender mutilization, he says, for children. Do not fail. And this one was signed President Donald J. Trump, coming straight from him. How does that impact what you're doing there on the Hill? Because there's a lot of consternation from conservatives that the Senate doesn't seem like it's moving forward with the SAVE Act.
Well, the Senate is notoriously slow. Sometimes it takes us months to get nothing done. But the SAVE Act is a priority. I'm a co-author. I agree with everything the president said in his tweet, though I haven't seen it. John Thune has promised to bring the bill to the floor. I don't know when he's going to do that, but he is going to do that. I anticipate it will be in the next few weeks. Will it pass? I think so. It just depends. We've got some free range. The Democrats will be against it, but we've got some free range chickens on the Republican side, and we're going to have to go gather them up.
So to get to 60, though, is the thought that this would be a reconciliation bill, so you don't have to get to the 60? Is there a single Democrat? Are there several Democrats who would vote with you on the save?
I would do it through reconciliation. We could short circuit all of this, but I'm in a minority. I have chased Senator Thune, my good friend, like he stole Thanksgiving to try to get him to do a reconciliation. This would be perfect for reconciliation.
Okay. I also want to touch on the economy because you heard Senator Warren talk about this as well. A bad jobs report, frankly, by any measure on Friday. And that with now people are going to go to the pump. It's a real life check for them on their wallets every day. Wall Street Journal says this: Trump's pledges to lower prices and to keep the U.S. out of foreign wars helped usher him into a second term. Yet in advance of the 26 midterm elections, foreign interventions have dominated the White House's recent focus and cast fresh uncertainty on a fragile economy. Our poll shows this week when people are asked about their personal situation, 57% of them said it's fair or poor. How do you deal with that going into the midterms?
Well, the expert economists who are predicting doom need to chill. They need to go buy an emotional support pony. Economy's fine. I wouldn't trade America's economy for the economy of any developed country in the world. We had a bad job report last month. Everybody knows that companies, they're not firing people, but they're not hiring people. But our economy is fine. Have oil prices gone up? Well, of course. Do oil prices go up when there's a war in the Middle East? Yes, duh. The oil prices haven't gone up because there's a shortage of oil. The oil prices have gone up because you've got a bunch of oil traders out there in their Gucci loafers with their caramel frappuccinos who are bidding up the price. The prices will come back down as soon as we get out of Iran, as soon as we finish turning them into fish food, which will be pretty soon.
All right, Senator Kennedy, always good to have a colorful conversation with you. Thanks
so
for stopping
with the
in.
deal secured, did the U.S. achieve what it set out to do? The Wall Street Journal editorial board writing, Mr. Trump's willingness to use military force when no one else would has set back Iran's nuclear program. Military and industrial base. The result isn't Obama Deal 2.0 because unlike in 2015, Iran's key nuclear facilities are in rubble and its enrichment of uranium has been halted for the first time in 20 years. But there's no denying that Mr. Trump is retreating from his main goals as political pressure is built at home and finishing the job requires greater military risk. So this boils down to three big questions. What was the main goal? What did it take to accomplish that goal? And are Americans willing to pay the price if more is required to achieve that goal? Joining me now is Louisiana Republican Senator John Kennedy. Senator, thanks for being with us here today. Let's get your reaction. From what you know so far to this memorandum of understanding, what is your reaction to this potential deal?
Well, here's what I know, Will. All day long, members of the media in Washington have been running around like lizards on a hot rock. What do you think about the agreement? What do you think about the deal? What if the deal says that? What if the deal doesn't do this? And I'll tell you what I told them. If you don't know, shut up. None of us have seen the document. Here's what I do know, based on what we've done and what the president and vice president have said. I know that the Strait of Hormuz is now open. The blockade on both sides has been lifted. I know that the price of oil and therefore the price of gasoline is coming down. I know that the document is conceptual, about a page and a half. It's basically a deal to make a deal. I know that Iran is immeasurably weaker than it was a year ago. We have bombed the crap out of them. There are huge swaths of Iran that look like something out of Mad Max 4. Iran has never been weaker. We've destroyed their most of their nuclear program that we know about, their fissile material, most of it anyway, is buried underneath the earth. We've destroyed a lot of their missiles and their drones and their production plants. It'll take 20 years for Iran to recover, and I don't know where they're going to get the money. China's not going to give it to them. We're not. Russia won't give it to them. Now, here's what I don't know. Will Iran make a deal? I don't know. Based on their history, we may be wasting the next 60 to 90 days. These religious zealots that run Iran, they learn to lie before they learn to talk. They think they're on a mission from God. They do. They're crazy as a bedbug. And in the past, they've always lied and refused to cooperate. But if they don't cooperate, we have devastated that country so badly. They have no air defenses. We can fly anywhere we want to. If they start their nuclear warheads program again, we will know immediately, and we can bomb the crap out of them again. And I think the world is safer for what after what America has done, and that's just my opinion.
So really quickly, Senator, it sounds like you know this as well as I do, Senator. There are some critics, not just within the media or on the left, but on the right, and right there, not just in the media, but around you on Capitol Hill. Mm-hmm. Republicans who are concerned about what they know of as the potential details of this deal. It sounds like your response is, look, mission accomplished in many of the ways that was laid out. Iran has been set back 10, 15, 20 years. And if the strait is now open, even if they don't live up to a deal or the deal doesn't live up to your expectations, we have in many ways accomplished victory?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've never thought that we would be able to get their fissile material without sending in American troops. And I was very hesitant about that. I've never thought Iran's going to step up and say, okay, you're right, we're giving up our ambition to have a weapon. And if they said it right now, I wouldn't believe them. Look, there are limits to what we could do, but we did what we needed to do. And let me say it again. Iran looks like something out of Mad Max 4. They're a lot weaker than they were, and therefore the world's a lot safer.
All right, Senator Kennedy, I think we're going to continue this conversation. I appreciate it, and I think we need to bring clarity on what was our objective, what was accomplished, and if the objective was something more for many of the critics, what would be required in terms of investment to accomplish what you don't like in this potential deal. We'll continue this conversation. Senator Kennedy, thank you.
And we have more on this with Senator John Kennedy. Thanks so much for being here. Vice President Vance was on the 5 last night. I asked him about FISA being on the fritz at the moment because of the situation, and then you have this plot. Watch here.
If somebody had been engaged in foreign terrorist activities, communicating with these guys, we would actually be kind of blind to it right now because FISA has lapsed and FISA has expired. I'm a big believer that if you're going to, of course, wiretap an American citizen, you got to have a warrant. But if you have some crazy person outside the country planning a terrorist attack, we've got to be able to get access to that information right away. It's one of the reasons why, we care so much about this particular program.
What's the level of concern for officials that this program is not available right now?
Well, I slightly disagree with my friend, the vice president. The program is available. All the thousands of prior what we call certifications, which means consent to surveil foreign terrorists, are still in effect. We just can't initiate new ones, so the lights are not out at FISA. I feel about this whole thing. I feel gratitude. I feel disgust. I'm glad that these guys got caught. I feel disgust. Even duct tape and WD-40 can't fix stupid. What a bunch of goobers. Our intelligence, FISA or not, is the best in the world, and I'm glad they were caught. But, these guys, they're more than just mildly insane as far as I'm concerned, and I hope they all get to spend some quality time with Bubba in a federal penitentiary.
Well, it appears their parents turned them in, so we will watch that story. And just for the record, I've not heard the word goobers in some time. And I leave it to you to bring it back to our lexicon today.
Well,
on a more serious matter, Let's make some news on what's happening with regard to this hearing. At 4 a.m. Our time, 10 o'clock in the morning in France, the president dropped this on Truth Social. The Republicans agreed with Democrats to remove very fair and talented William Pulte from serving as acting DNI in return for getting FISA approved by the Democrats. I will not approve FISA without the Save America Act going along with it. That means that Jay Clayton's hearing apparently was suspended. Tom Cotton went to X 10 minutes ago and said that hearing will go forward. Based on what you know, what is the status of this nomination and this hearing and where we are on it, Senator?
Well, at the moment, it's a multiple vehicle pileup, Bill. The president is aggressively unpredictable. We thought we had things worked out. We don't. These are the president's nominees. He's entitled to pull them or go forward with them, as is his pleasure. I'm not particularly surprised. I don't know if you remember that movie Glengarry, Glenn Ross, but there's a line in there where the protagonist says, he's a salesman. He said, always be selling, always be selling, always be selling. Well, that's President Trump. He's got two speeds, 0 and 1,000 miles an hour. And the president's upset. He wants Bill Pulte in there. The Congress has pushed back, and he wants Pulte, and we're going to have to deal with it. And it is what it is.
All right, Senator, thank you so much.
President, I ask unanimous consent for the following interns from my office to be granted 4 privileges until June 19th, 2026. Nathan Hayes, Bradley Fuselier, Gabby Summerall, and Lucy John.
Without objection.
Mr. President, Nathan Hayes, to whom I just referred as an intern in my office, he's from Baton Rouge. He's a rising junior at LSU. Lucy John is from Lafayette, Louisiana. Lucy is a rising senior at Tulane. Bradley Fuselier is from Ville Platte. Bradley is a rising senior at LSU, and Gabby Summerall from Monroe is a rising junior at Covenant College. They are interning in my office this summer, and I am glad to have them. Last night, Mr. President, I read the Memorandum of Understanding between the United States and Iran. I read it twice. And for what it's worth, here's my conclusion. I think we ought to give peace a chance. And that's all I'm saying today. You're entitled to your opinion, but all I'm saying today is I think we ought to give peace a chance. I've all week long, even before the memorandum came out, I've heard all the speculation about the agreement, the rank speculation. I've listened to people say, well, I don't like this and I don't like that, and this is in it and it shouldn't be, and this isn't in it and it should be, and if we do this, this is going to happen. And it's all rank speculation. The people offering these points of view, to which they're entitled, they're not clairvoyant. They're not any more clairvoyant than I am. Just like me, they have to wait for the future, like everybody else. Here's what I see in the document. The only certainty The only practical, real consequence of this document is that for 60 days, America has removed its blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. And for 60 days, Iran has removed its blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, which means ships containing oil and natural gas and fertilizer can go back and forth just like they were before the conflict started. The other practical consequence is that Iran will be able to start selling its oil again for 60 days. The other thing that we're certain of is that as a result of this agreement, the price of oil is going down. And as a result of that, the price of gasoline is going down. And as a result of the Strait of Hormuz being open, the price of fertilizer, for example, and other commodities that go back and forth through the Strait of Hormuz are coming down, and that's a good thing. And that's all we know. That's the only practical consequence of this document. Now, in the document, Iran says that it is willing to negotiate for 60 days to get rid of its fissile material that it can use to make a nuclear weapon, including but not limited to its centrifuges that it uses to enrich the uranium. And in the document, Iran says we're willing to renounce our desire to have a nuclear weapon. And in the document, Iran says for 60 days, we're willing to negotiate some sort of inspection protocol so that the world can go in and make sure that Iran is telling the truth. They've got 60 days to do it. Not 160, not a year. They've got 60 days. And President Trump has said if they don't do it, I think his expression was, I'll start dropping bombs on their head again. That's the other thing that we know. Now, this might be a good time, Mr. President, to say that as I've said all week, and as I've said in another context before, I trust the Iranian government like I trust gas station sushi. The Iranian government, not the Iranian people, the Iranian government are a bunch of religious nuts. Their religion tells them that if you and I or anybody don't agree with all the tenets of their religion, that they want to kill you and hurt you the entire time you're dying. As far as I'm concerned, if your religion tells you in order to be devout you have to kill somebody, you probably ought to get another religion. My experience with the Iranian government, not the Iranian people, is that they lie like they breathe. They lie like fish swim. They learned to lie before they learned to talk. But you know what? They've got 60 days to prove otherwise. 60 days, not 160, not a year. They've got 60 days to prove otherwise. And if they don't prove it, the bombing is going to start again. I heard President Trump say it last night. Big as Dallas, right there on television. They got 60 days. And if they don't do it, if they're jacking me around, I'm going to start bombing again. The other thing that I'm certain of today is that Iran is immeasurably weaker than it was a year ago, than it was before the United States and Israel bombed their nuclear facilities last June, and before the conflict that we've watched transpire over the last couple of months. Immeasurably weaker. There are whole swaths of Iran that look like the aftermath of a bar brawl. There are entire regions in Iran that look like something out of Mad Max 4. We have bombed the living bejesus out of them. We haven't destroyed all their missiles, but we've destroyed a bunch of them. We've destroyed their weapons production factories. We've destroyed their entire Navy. We've destroyed a lot of their drones. We have just given them a curb stomping. Hated to do it, but we did what we have to do. The private sector, Iran's got, I don't know how anybody's eating or living in Iran. They've got 70% inflation, huge unemployment. Iran today, and I regret this, but it had to be done. Iran today, its public and private sector, is held together with spit and duct tape. And all the president's done is say, okay, for 60 days, I'm going to give peace a chance and give you a chance to do what you say you're going to do. 60 days. That's it. I hope it works out. I've got my doubts. But the president's taken a big risk here. And he's been roundly criticized by my Democratic friends, which I don't really get. You know, since the conflict started, my Democratic colleagues have been offering bill after bill after bill to stop the conflict and to take the authority away from the executive branch to prosecute it. I don't know how many bills, a squillion. Bill after bill after bill. They haven't passed. But now that the president has done it, the Democrats are unhappy. The New York Times, I was reading the New York Times this morning. I mean, they're just bashing this agreement, which they've been asking for. Now, I don't mean any disrespect, but I discount what's in the New York Times because I know the folks running the New York Times. And the folks running the New York Times hate Republicans as much as the devil loves sin. The New York Times, the people running the New York Times, would endorse a dead armadillo over a live Republican if the dead armadillo had a D behind its name. That's just the way it is. I get it. They're entitled to their opinion. And the New York Times has been called many things, some good, some bad. They've never been called unbiased. That's just a fact. It goes with the turf. And once again, this is America. You're entitled to your opinion. But I wanted to come down this morning and say, Mr. President, I think we ought to give peace a chance. I think we ought to give peace a chance. It's only 60 days. And we're just going to have to trust the president on this one. But we'll know soon. And I hope it works. I hope our giving peace a chance makes peace possible. Mr. President, my work here is done. I can see myself out.
So let me put the entire puzzle together for you, because this is where it gets really dangerous. 1, Kennedy is not a fringe senator. He's one of the most respected conservatives on Capitol Hill. When he says the Pentagon is lying, people listen. 2. Hegseth did not answer the question. He dodged. He deflected. He gave a 90-second nothing-burger response, and the American people noticed. 3. That one line, spit and duct tape, is now trending on X with over 47 million impressions in less than 24 hours. It's being quoted in newsrooms, on podcasts, in war rooms overseas. 4. This is not just about Iran. This is about trust. Can Americans trust what their defense secretary says about a live war? Can our allies trust us? And 5, here's the question tonight. Where is President Trump in all of this? Because Kennedy is a Trump ally. He backed Trump's Iran strikes. He called the strikes fish food for our enemies. But now he's publicly questioning the man Trump put in charge. That's not Democrat versus Republican. That's a warning shot inside the Republican Party itself. And if Hegseth can't survive one senator's question tonight, how is he going to survive the next 6 months of the Iran war? Remember this name, spit and duct tape. Remember this moment, Hegseth froze. And remember this date, because what Kennedy just did on live TV, history will not forget. Now, here's what I want you to do. Drop a comment below. Do you believe Senator Kennedy exposed the Pentagon? Or do you think this is just political theater right before the midterms? And if this video hit, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell. Because Kennedy just told me off camera that there are 2 more Pentagon officials he plans to grill next week. And I'll be covering every second of it. This is not a drill. The Iran war is escalating, and the people running it are now being held accountable on live television. I'll see you in the next one.